Bridge to Terabithia is an amazing film and absolutely nothing like what I was expecting. I'm a big Disney fan. I watched this because it's produced in part by Disney. I also love Bailee Madison, so I would have watched this eventually anyway. But I'd been putting it off because it seemed like it was going to be very heavily fantasy based. And while that does come into it, that's actually not the main point of the film. And I found this to be just absolutely incredible and also very emotional, but I won't spoil anything that happens in this in any detail. This was released in 2007. It's directed by Gabor Supo, written by David L. Patterson and Jeff Stockwell, based on Bridge to Terabithia by Catherine Patterson. I haven't read the book. If you've read it, know how it compares, have any thoughts, please feel free to share. And we have a cast including Josh Hutcherson, AnnaSophia Robb, of course we have Bailee Madison, we have Zooey Deschanel. Great cast, great performances, very well written characters. It focuses on Jess and Leslie. Jess and Leslie are both in sixth grade, and they both have very difficult circumstances. Leslie is a new girl at school. Jess is having difficulties at home with his father, with his family, and they both find a friendship in each other. And the film is partly about the power of friendship and being there for each other and supporting each other, helping each other through difficult times, but also about the power of imagination. As eventually, and it did take quite a while to get there, and for me not being a huge fan of fantasy, I didn't mind that too much, but if you go into this expecting a fantasy-heavy film, you might think the pacing's not that great, and I can understand that argument, but eventually they decide to create this place called Terabithia. And we see it coming to life a little bit as they create it in the woods around them, and they're imagining this world and these creatures, and it's just a way for them to escape together from the problems of reality. And I think there are some really lovely messages in this, and the friendship between Jess and Leslie is really lovely to see. Bailee Madison plays Maybelle. She is Jess's younger sister, and she's absolutely adorable. She's very sweet, and I really liked what she brought to this. Visually, it's a really impressive film. The music is really great. The narrative is very, very well written. There are things that happen in this that I did not see coming, things that make it rather emotional and honestly a little difficult to watch. Not as a criticism to the film, but absolutely something that the story has done right is really drawing out some really challenging emotions in the viewer, certainly in this viewer, and I have nothing but praise for it. It's a very strong story with a lot to offer, a lot of great messages, very likable, well-written characters with great performances. Visually, it's very effective. The fantasy element is presented really, really well. And for me, I think it worked really well because it wasn't too in your face. It's not overly fantasy-based, but there's enough in it that we as the viewer can be on that journey with the characters and imagine Terabithia alongside them. So I have honestly no complaints about this. I feel like it's one of the strongest films I've seen in a long time. It has an awful lot to offer. It delivers with every aspect. The cast and character is fantastic. The story is brilliant. Obviously, I don't know how it compares to the book. Again, if you have any thoughts on that, please feel free to share. But based purely on the film, I think the story is fantastic, moving, difficult at times, and ultimately a really great success. I think they've done an absolutely fantastic job with this. And it doesn't surprise me that this has 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb across 185,000 reviews and ratings. There's also a very impressive meta score of 74. So all things considered, Bridge of Terabithia is an incredible film. And whether you've been considering watching it or maybe you hadn't considered it at all, I'd say it's absolutely worth watching. If, like me, not a big fan of fantasy, you haven't really been considering checking it out, don't let that stop you from enjoying it, because while the fantasy elements are very well done, there's so much more to this film, and I have nothing but praise for it. Bridge to Terabithia is absolutely fantastic.